I want you to imagine this particular scenario, and then I want you to stay with this so that you can hear the point of what I'm trying to make. So imagine you were tasked to do a particular task and you didn't know how to do it. And you spent a great deal of time working on this thing for months. And then you hand it someplace and somebody says they don't like it. And usually it's really, really mean in terms of how people return these responses. And when you do that, it crushes you repeatedly. And you go through many moments of thinking about, am I actually doing this? I did everything right. I thought I did everything right. I thought this is what was asked of me, but it's not. This is the whole process of what it means to be an academic, is that you will go through many moments of going through you doing everything right. At least in your head, you're really excited to do it. You spend a great deal of time and effort, usually months, working on something. And then you get responses back that are half-baked often. People didn't pay attention to it. Sometimes people really do pay attention to it, but it rips your soul out as you get this. And our job is to repeatedly look at this and try to process it and think about, how am I actually going to deal with this? As you go through, and I want you to stick with me just a little bit and I'll get to the point of what I'm trying to make. As you go through this, you go through such a transformation of who you actually are inside that the vast majority of the people that do this career completely change. And they go into a lot of dark moments. I want you to, and I'm not lying on this, it's not just my personal opinion, it's just not people that I know. I want you just to Google, and this is a simple, easy task. Just Google either PhD funny or academia funny, or go onto Reddit and type in academia. And what you're going to see is an unbelievable amount of stories of people going through these moments of where they are pouring their heart and soul. And these are not people that didn't hack it. These are people that are the top in the world in their particular thing. And they go through all of these moments where they're going through these dark, dark moments inside. And they question who they are, particularly when we come up to things like tenure, for example. All of a sudden, you think you do everything right. And you did do everything right. That's the truth of it. You did do everything right. And it still wasn't good enough because somebody out there didn't believe that you were good enough in their eyes. And if they were to repeat the same thing that you were doing, they wouldn't be able to do it. It's because they're looking at the thing that you're doing and saying it's so easy, but they have no idea how to do it themselves. But this is the battle that we face. So here's my point with all of this. This is a scenario that many of us go through, including yourself, I'm sure. How can we change this? That's the proposition that I often think about. So I've spent many years of being on YouTube and social media and all of that. I've been building this platform where the ultimate goal, I want you to imagine this, the ultimate goal is to create non-rejectable research papers and grants. And you're going to think that this is crazy. And I'm going to agree with you. I think this is crazy. I've spent a god-awful amount of time, resources, money, all number of different things. And I still can't convince people that this is a legitimate thing yet. That I am building a platform to create non-rejectable research papers and grants. And when I tell people that, they don't necessarily believe me right up at the get-go. Yet, when I tell this story, when I want them to actually start looking at this problem, they start thinking, wait a minute, there is a problem here. There is something that's going on. There is a lot of weird things that go on in the whole game. And a lot of it has to do with the mental game of things. It hasn't to do with your skill, it has nothing to do with the information that's available. There's tons of this stuff there's already a whole bunch of tools that you can use. In fact, there's a swarm, the competitive thingy that happens. Everybody swarms to it, and then they don't tell anybody that they're actually using all of these competitive tools and artificial intelligence. And then they say it's all them. But what I'm getting at is that there's actually a deep thing that we need to change. And this is my way of actually changing this. And I think I can change it. It is actually changing. And if you don't believe me, I want you to look and see how many millions of people have watched all of these things, all these videos. I want you to see that there's actually legitimate demand that's there. So here's the thing. I want to create this platform to get feedback at any moment, and it's always positive, and it's fun, it's silly, and goofy. Here's the thing. I can't do it alone, and I need your help. And I've said that many times in the last little bit, but I really want to stress that if you watch any of these videos and you go through any of these moments, you're watching them and it's like you're doing, you want to go through basically S&M, right? You love the sort of feeling of the negative aspects of things, and you want to sort of get a little quick adrenaline rush, dopamine rush, or whatever it is, so you feel good inside, but you don't do anything about it. And if you want to change these things, you actually want to make a real difference. You actually have to engage and make a real difference. And that's where I view this, and that's why I need your help. I'm building this thing out. But I need help with grants. I need help. It's hard building this and spending a whole bunch of money, essentially my wife's money, on this particular platform, and time and effort. It's very hard doing this. And I can only do so much. I can be the lead person at this moment to get this thing going, but I need a lot more help. Because we can sit here and we can laugh about all of these things, and that's usually what happens, is that people laugh, oh, look at how funny, or, oh, I had to work all of the time, or, this person had this nasty comment, and oh, that's so fun and funny and goofy. But it doesn't change anything. If we want to change this, we actually have to sit down and say we want to change it. And when you do that, when you get to that moment where you say you want to change it, come find me. I'll be here, still doing these things, still trying to build it out. And I know this is the thing that's been like, kind of hurts here inside, is that I know that a lot of people are extremely, extremely competent, watch this and participate, and yet they don't want to do anything about it, right? They tell me in private, or, maybe it's comments, but they never want to do anything about it. This is your chance to do something about it. Change it so we can create non-rejectable research papers and grants. And now what does that look like? Well, we have to work backwards from that. That's a hard problem. But that doesn't mean we can't do it. Doesn't mean we don't have tools and resources to build these things out, and algorithms. And man, if we can create things like Facebook, why can't we create something like this? And I think about that all the time. This is insane that we allow this to happen, and yet nobody wants to actually fix it. I get chastised for talking and openly about it, yet nobody wants to fix it. So if you want to fix it, you really want to engage and do something that's positive, by all means, participate. figure out how to tell people about the reciprocity project, figure out, provide money, whatever, your resources and time and all that kind of stuff. I can't do this alone. So before I go, I want to give you one last thing. That if you're going through this scenario, right, this sort of never-ending scenario, I want you to reframe what is going on. And instead of thinking about this weird performance thing that's going on that you have no control over, focus on the now. Focus on, I love the fact that I'm me. Focus on, this is what's going to change. And this is the only thing that I can deal with. It's the here and now, doing a little bit, one little day at a time. That's the most important thing. If you focus on those little things, you can often go a long way. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.